Hello everyone, we are from Group 2 and today we would like to present about the Biological Safety Cabinet. And this is our group members, Adriana binti Abdurrahman, Ayu Rashida binti Rashidi, Tania Lim Jinni, Nur Aina Akila binti Arli Hamdi, Rachel Barbara Gardon, Sarah Nadia binti Azhar Ahmad, and Siti Yasmin binti Muhammad Ikmal Hisham.
Biosafety cabinet is a ventilated enclosure that offer to protect the user, the product, and even the environment from the aerosol that arise from handling the potential biohazardous microorganism. The main principle of this biosafety cabinet is to suck the air outward to keep it in the negative pressure state, and again to protect the person or someone that handling the experiment through the vertical airflow. So this is how the biosafety cabinet works.
The Biological Safety Cabinet, which is referred to as BSC afterwards, had their own classification, which are the Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. Each class had their own features, which allowed the recognition of each BSC for functional purposes in handling different levels of infectious agents. So, the Class 1 of BSC is the simplest ventilated cabinet that has ever been created. Class 1 of BSC is used when biosafety level 1, 2, and 3 containment procedures are necessary. Hence, it can be used to work with infectious agents from risk group 1, 2, and 3. However, this type of BSC only provides protection to the personnel and environment, not to the product. This is because the BSC is designated with an open front with inward airflow and HEPA filtered exhaust air. Next, Class 2 of BSC is known for being the commonly used ventilated cabinet in the laboratories due to the advancement that it offers, as it can protect the products instead of only the personnel and the environment. Similar to the Class 1, it is used when the containment procedures from biosafety level 1, 2, and 3 are needed. Although it is more advanced than Class 1, it cannot be used to handle the risk group 4, as the agent is too hazardous and it may cause exposure of the agents towards the personnel and environment. And then it also can introduce contamination to products, as it is still getting exposed to the environment due to the open front with inward airflow. Class 2 of BSC are created with two filters, which are downward HEPA filtered laminar airflow and HEPA filtered exhaust air, which making it more advanced than Class 1. There are four types of Class 2 of BSC, which are A1, A2, B1, and B2. Lastly, Class 3 of BSC is a highly enclosed ventilated cabinet, and it is used for containment procedures involving biosafety level 3 and 4. This is because it provides protection to three subjects, which are personnel, products, and environment. It is designated with glove parts for arm-length gloves, double exhaust HEPA filtration and single exhaust HEPA filtration, and double door autoclave. As I mentioned the features, it is clearly shown that the cabinet is completely enclosed and offers highly protection to those three subjects when compared to Class 1 and Class 2.
So next, I will be explaining about the biosafety cabinet for Class 1, 2, and 3. The first biosafety cabinet consists of an open front with inward airflow. This will allow access to the interior of the cabinet and helps to protect the operator from biohazardous aerosols that are produced inside the cabinet. Next, biosafety cabinet Class 1 also uses a HEPA filtered exhaust air at the exhaust outlet to protect the environment by directing the exhaust air towards the room or outdoors to properly dispose the contaminants. Biosafety cabinet can be divided into four types, which are A1, A2, B1, and also B2. The one type of biosafety cabinet designed with an open front and have a minimum velocity of 75 feet per min inflow velocity. The recirculating airflow is 70% while 30% exhausted from the cabinet. A2 type also have an open front design with inward airflow to provide personal protection, but with 100 feet per min inflow velocity and the same recirculating airflow of 70% and 30% exhausted from the cabinet. For B1 and B2 type, both have open front viewing window with a minimum velocity of 100 feet per min inflow velocity. They must be hard ducted outdoors, but the recirculating airflow is 40% while 60% exhausted from cabinet for B1 type. On the other hand, 100% is completely exhausted from cabinet for B2 type. The last class for biosafety cabinet is class 3. Firstly, it has completely sealed viewing windows to provide protection to operator and environment. Next, both supply and exhaust air are HEPA filtered to maintain a sterile environment inside the cabinet and to prevent the release of biohazardous agents into the environment. Cabinet and its associated ducting are also kept under negative pressure by a dedicated independent exhaust system to ensure any potential contaminants are contained inside the cabinet. Biosafety cabinet class 3 has long, heavy-duty rubber glove attached to ports in the cabinet to avoid direct exposure of biohazardous material to operator when working inside the cabinet.
Now I would like to explain the differences of Biological Safety Cabinet BSC classes on the aspect of personal protection, product protection, environmental protection. First of all, in Class 1 Biological Safety Cabinet, there is protection of personal and environmental, but not product. For the personal protection in Class 1 BSC, the protection is through the inward airflow. There is minimal protection on environmental as exhaust air is not HEPA filtered. There is no protection on the product because the inward flow of air can contribute to the product contamination. Next, moving on to the Class 2 Biological Safety Cabinets, they all provide protection to the personal environment and product. On personal protection, the protection is through the inward airflow of such opening. The recirculated air is HEPA filtered before exhaust back into the laboratory. Next, the product is being protected by the HEPA filtered air is drawn into the work surface, and the environment is being protected as the HEPA filtered exhaust is applied to the filtered air out of the environment. Lastly, in the Class 3 Biological Safety Cabinet, it provides the maximum protection to the personal, product, and environment. Because of its enclosed tightly sealed system, it provides maximum protection to personal, while for product protection, the HEPA filter air is supplied to work surface so total contaminants are being removed, and for the environmental protection is protected as the exhaust air is double HEPA filtered. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, BSc have different ways to be handled according to its class. As for class 1, it only requires the usual aseptic technique, which is by disinfecting the tools and the surface of BSc using alcohol before proceeding with the experiment. For BSc Class 2, A1 and A2 BSc have a different handling way, where A2 is more suitable to be used to handle hazardous agents as it provides a comparable level of safety for the environment and product, even when it have less stringent airflow requirements. As for B1, HEPA filter must filter the exhaust air before it was discarded to the environment, while BSc Class B2 must maintain the room pressure, ventilation, and the constant power supply. Class 3 BSc, on the other hand, has the most distinct way to handle, as the worker must use glove that is attached to prevent any direct contact between the operator and the sample. The materials should also be transferred using a transfer chamber too, and all the wastewater must be thrown away in the decontamination waste attached to the nearby sink to minimize any contact with the sample. In general, all the BSc must be disinfected with alcohol, and UV light must be turned on before and after the usage of BSc. PPE will be the last defense line as it is necessary to be used when handling with the infectious agent.
When applying the use of biosafety cabinets for different purposes, it is important to select the right type of biosafety cabinets. The selection can be done by conducting a risk assessment on the pathogens that will be dealt with. Infectious aerosols can be generated from the process of aliquoting, vertex mixing, centrifugation, and pipette usage. These aerosols can also be generated from pressurized containers that are being unlocked and through the separation of specimens. The handling of specimens that has a potential for SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 is recommended to be done under Class 2A2 or Class 2B2 biosafety cabinet. The specimens collected for COVID-19 are usually respiratory specimens, which are throat swabs, nasal swabs, and nasopharyngeal aspirates. All these specimens have the potential to generate aerosols when they are handled by vortex, pipette, and aliquots. The Class 2A2 BSc is the best BSc for the handling of COVID-19. This is because it requires less stringent airflow and provides a good level of safety to the users. This type of BSC is also used in the pharmaceutical industry to handle hazardous compounds. The HEPA filtration mechanism can prevent the leak of COVID-19 from the BSC with an efficiency as high as 99.97%. COVID-19 can be transmitted through the spread of respiratory droplets and aerosols, and the size of respiratory droplets are roughly 5 to 10 micrometer, while aerosols are 5 micrometer or lower. The HEPA filter can filter particles as small as 0.3 micrometer, making it prevent the spread of the aerosols effectively. The Class 2 P1 PSCs is recommended to be used for the handling of microbiological agents, volatile chemicals, and a great amount of radionuclides. The Class 3 Biosafety Cabinet is used for Biosafety Level 4, where highly contagious and infectious viruses are being handled. These viruses include Ebola, Nipah, and avian influenza H5N1, which are classified as Risk Group 4.
Last but not least, we can conclude that the Biological Safety Cabinet (BSC) are important laboratory instruments which can be classified into three primary categories, which are Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3. Each of these class has a unique features that able to provide a different level of protection to the personnel, environments, and also to the sample that being handled during the experiment. All of these three BSc classification help in ensuring a safe working condition when handling with the biological agents at different risk levels, which is it also include the standard laboratory tasks to the handling of hazardous and highly infectious material in the high containment environment. Here are the list of references that we use for our assignment. That's all from us. Thank you.